Oh.
Is Substack up yet?
Waiting for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
It's a hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. There we go. I think that's.
Yep.
I think that's good to go. I am live. I am live on Blue Sky. So let me drop. I'm actually going to drop all of those links.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to drop. We're going to drop everything. Give it a second to pause that. Stream plays. And then we're live on Insta. And then we're live on Twitch. Let me go to we're live on Insta.
Oh, somebody's got an echo.
Yeah, I know it's me. I'm working on it. Yeah, it's me. I'm working on it. There. Okay. I'm not echoing now.
With the skull. Anything else? Anything? I'm not talking the shotgun. No, not the shotgun.
Ignore that. Yeah, ignore that.
I'm like, where's this extra voice coming from?
It's all in your head. Haven't you heard the Gorilla song?
Which?
I forget the name of the song now. Holy shit. Okay. All right. So, hi, welcome to the Deep Exhale, where we talk about trauma and survival and everything else. So I'm just going to get the one, like, I'm really pissed off thing out of the way. And that's, they arrested Don Lemon today.
That's some bullshit.
And arresting Don Lemon is the biggest hunk of bullshit ever. Because what that says is the administration is now going to arrest independent journalists.
Yeah.
So, which will suck for all of us. I mean, hugely. And I'm not fucking happy about it. Okay. So today's focus, just so everybody is aware, I'm going to go down the list. Survival from a rights and beliefs perspective. Survival from a control perspective. And then survival from an awareness perspective that is culminated from the first two. And then I have a surprise topic that we can talk about that you won't see until later this evening at around 5:00. But we can talk about that, which that is, and I'm just going to share it, is active rebellion, because that naturally progresses from the conversation that we're about to have. So with that, I will go right into it. Rights and beliefs. So the thing about rights is that in the end, you can't prove what should be considered a right or not. And this is a quote by Paul Farmer, who was a doctor who spent his life in Haiti's like poorest fucking communities. Rights are not natural laws waiting to be discovered. They're agreements that we fight like fuck for. And it's not some cosmic truth. They reveal who's suffering, despite a basis of mattering or not. So the survival move is to stop arguing about what should be rights and start acting like human dignity is just non-negotiable, because it is. Feed someone, shelter someone, mother someone, defend someone. The debate ends when you make someone's material reality better, guide somebody in the right direction, be an elder for a younger person. Rights become real when enough people refuse to live in a world without them. That's what happened 250 years ago when a bunch of people that were living in a colony said, fuck this. And that's how we got to where we are right now. And now I'm just going to randomly pick on people. No, go there. There we go. We can't hear you again. Weird. Okay, you work that out. We'll pick on Brandon.
Oh no, not me.
Yes.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Do you feel you have inalienable rights? Is the question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do I feel I have inalienable rights? Well, not so much anymore. I mean, I should.
Well, let me ask you a more direct question.
Okay.
If you stop waiting for permission or consensus, what would you do tomorrow to refuse to accept the world as it is?
Oh gosh, that would be a long list. Well, for one, I would not pay my taxes.
Because you don't feel representation with your taxes?
Because I don't want to support and fund the current government that we have. Yeah, that would probably be the top thing, at least.
That would be an act of defiance, for certain.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I guess organizing other people to do the same.
So active resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's certainly. Whoops. Let's see. We got Miranda back. We can hear you now, Miranda.
Oh.
Oh gosh! Now we lost her again. Oh no! There we go.
Hey!
Come back, Miranda. Hey!
Hi. So y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. So now you get the harder question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What or who taught you that people's suffering is acceptable? And what would it cost for you to unlearn it?
Why are we changing?
Okay, so who taught me that suffering was acceptable?
Yeah. Were you ever taught the suffering of certain individuals is acceptable, and why? And what would it take for you to unlearn it?
Oh, the church taught me that really well.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
That's why I saved that question for you.
Yeah, so One of the things about what the church teaches is that because of like the obsession with hell and with God punishing people after death, it makes it where Christians aren't willing to see the suffering that people go through in this life, because they're like, well, if you're suffering, that means that, you know, God is doing that because you haven't done all of the, you know, unlocked the lockbox with the right prayer and the right social standing and all of that stuff. Um, and yeah, so like especially you know, evangelical churches tend to believe in penal substitution atonement, which is the idea that uh, God has wrath for his creation because of our sinfulness, and that Jesus dying was God putting his wrath um, onto Jesus so that we don't have to experience it, right? Um, but I've been thinking about that topic for a while, but a lot lately. In that, whenever you know, if you're a Christian and if you look at atonement for sins in through that perspective, then what that is it's human sacrifice, right? And because the old system was, you know, sacrificing a lamb or a goat or what have you. So once you get into human sacrifice, even if you try to say, well, this one human God hybrid had to go through that for us, you kind of get a taste for more human sacrifice. And I think it really is tied up with the idea of evangelicals being prone to authoritarianism, and also um, that scapegoats are a necessary part of that. So, you know, there always has to be another sacrifice, whether it's trans people or immigrants, and it's just endless. It's bloodlust all the time. Um, yeah.
I think it's kind of ironic because, like, I was taught that if you're suffering, then you're doing something right, because the devil will always the devil will go after you and attack you, and so if you're doing what you're supposed to do in God's eyes, you'll be attacked by Satan and
I
his
would like to
demons.
point out that from a biblical perspective and a linguistic perspective, Ha Satan is the Lord of the earth, and further even still, he is God's own agent on earth. You read the book of Job, and this becomes very glaringly obvious.
Oh yeah, like God is telling Satan what to do to Job and his family. It's not. Yeah.
God and Satan are hanging around the water cooler, and Satan tells God, you know what? I'll bet I can make Job say, fuck you, God.
Yeah.
And God said, fine, have at it. You just can't kill him. But
Well, what I was saying, the ironic part of it, though, if you're if you're suffering, you're doing something right according to the church and whatnot. But if it's somebody suffering that they don't agree with, then they must be doing something wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes it completely.
it's contextual, and the context is always we're holy and you're not.
Yeah.
Right. So Sarah, so the question for you is, what is a concrete action that you have taken that made someone's dignity non-negotiable, not just theory? And the reason I saved that one for you is because I know you've done it.
Someone's dignity.
Yes, dignity.
I've never thought about things in terms of dignity, just in terms of treating other people like humans.
Because you treat all people like humans?
Yeah.
Even though this is a challenge that never look, if we all treated people like human beings, then Alex Preddy wouldn't be dead.
Right.
And Renee Good would still be walking around. But, the fact of the matter is, that drags the conversation out of the clouds and into the dirt under your fingernails. It separates the people who gesture at caring from ones whose hands actually smell like the work that they've been doing from an ethereal perspective. Carrying someone's groceries and we have a female transphobe in the chat. Yay. That's amazing. Oh darn. No, we don't. I should point out in the YouTube chat, LOL, all these transies in one channel. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Joy.
It's almost like Jinx is in here. Oh. Onyx.
Is mine the same question? Kind of, what have I done? Concretely, I believe in my mission is more along helping people one-on-one. It's behind the curtain, as it were. It's all quietly done, but with a heavy impact. People trust me to keep their secrets, and in that way, I'm one who can tell stories should something happen to certain people. My stance is that if you are a human being, you deserve shelter, food, and dignity, and those are non-negotiable. Mutual aid is a must, and building networks. The way I build networks is one person at a time. So I link up this person with that person. It's not necessarily groups upon groups and linking groups together. It's just me doing what I can do, and it's nothing major, but it is doing something.
I'm going to leave you up there because I want you to respond to this because of the origination of where it came from. So,
Okay.
this is my narrative about the concept of control. And what that says is you may not control all of the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And if you don't know, that's Maya Angelou. Life will fuck you up. I promise you it will. I mean, I walk around with 15 pounds of inorganic titanium in my body because I was a very young and impetuously stupid child in my youth, and I made bad choices. The question isn't whether hard things will happen. Murphy's Law, they'll happen. And even worse still, Finagle's corollary that says to Murphy's Law, bad things will happen, but not only will they happen, but at the worst possible juncture of time. And the question then becomes whether those hard things get to define your size, your scope, your capacity for love, joy, emotion, and everything else. And so when everything feels crushing, I hate to take from the Bible, but you contain multitudes.
No, it's true.
Grief is real.
Oh, well, that one's not the Bible. That was Walt Whitman.
Oh, I'm sorry. So grief is real. Anger is justified. Exhaustion is earned. But none of those things can shrink the vastness that is in all of us in a capacity. We just decide every single day whether to stay as big as we are, or I'm defeated today, fuck off, and I let the bastards win. From my perspective, go big. Be expansive. Choose to remain undiminished, even when they're trying to break you down, because they're going to continue to try to do it. That's the revolutionary thing that's in all of us that they can't touch.
So I have to, first of all, the first thing I jump to is racism, because it's an all-encompassing part of my life. I cannot get away from it. It has been used against me so many times. And when you face it head on, it is almost a shock, like a momentary stun, where there's a glitch in the mainframe, and you're taken aback, and so I'm stunned, but then I have to reset my thinking, understanding that yes, I've heard this before, and no, it will not be the last time, and it cannot make me mad, because that is objectively what these people are trying to do. Same with transphobia, same with transphobia, a big thing. These people are trying to reduce us to nothing. The way we fight that is to keep showing up every day, is not to detransition, is not to go into the closet, but is to no reason to shout, but to be present, to show up. We can, they cannot remove all of us. They can try to, but trans people will always expand as long as we can get some to elderhood. The ones who are in lower generations have something to look forward to, have a history to look on, and something to strive for. Saying somebody else can do it, I can too. you know, and that's a good thing.
Talking to mute again. I have a special one for Ryan.
Oh, you have a special one for me.
Yeah, I have a special one. When I think about this, it begs me to ask the question: when did you last choose something that made you bigger instead of safer? And what did that expansion cost you?
So, one of the things that I do every day is walk our dog. Um, there's the largest park in the city is only a couple of blocks from our place. And being a public park, it's going to draw all kinds of people. And because of that, it is the place within my supposedly safe liberal bubble of a city that I've experienced the most in-person harassment for being trans. So I've had, there was a time when I walked by a couple of guys and they clocked me and immediately started a whole extra loud conversation about whether their penises were as big as mine.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was really fucked up.
Oh.
I've had the like crazy religious lady who's like street preaching and yelling at everybody see me and start like preaching against me specifically in front of a couple dozen people. I've had slurs, I've had threats, but it's my public park too. So even though all of those things have happened and can put me at physical risk, not just the psychological risk of verbal harassment, I keep showing up, keep walking my dog there. I have, we're like, I live in Denver. It's a very dog-friendly city. So a lot of my like informal social network is made up of the other people in my neighborhood who walk their dog around the same time that I do. So, even though these certain incidents have happened, I know that I have a network of people who are looking out for me just as part of their lives. I'm looking out for them.
Yes.
The other day I ran into one of my neighbors, and she had some intel about a creepy guy at the park who's been following women around, and so we talked about that, and then I could tell more people to look out for this particular description of person and keep each other safe. So, I think that being big, being bold, isn't necessarily just an individual choice or like or an individual burden. Like the act of standing up whenever you're community of people around you see you standing up, they're going to support you, and it encourages them to stand up as well. Um, and so I don't know if that answers your question, Wendy. I think
No,
so.
It reminds
that
it reminds me of stand up for your trans friends even when they're not around. You know, that's the vibe I get. I like that.
yeah. So Brandon, if you woke up tomorrow undiminished, you literally were taking up the largest amount of space of yourself that you could take up. The question becomes, who would be most threatened by that? And why does their fear get a vote, or does their fear get a vote?
Who would be the most threatened? My immediate thought goes to family, parents. Yeah, immediate family.
Do you feel that you self-reduce?
Well, yeah, in some ways.
Right.
It's I don't know how to answer that really.
Every time that question comes about, that translates into a psychosomatic feeling. You get tight in the chest. Um, you feel hot behind your eyes. Your fists clench up. But um, from a working perspective, um, for instance, I have a coworker who constantly misgenders me, constantly, and the reality is, I know he'll never stop doing it. So, from a social strata perspective, the boss, the partner, the parent, the friend, those people that need you smaller so they can just feel adequate. That's what that question is about.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with work because I work from home and I'm not in contact with anybody from the companies that I work for. I've never seen, talked to them or anything. It's just, I do these projects and submit them, have
Right.
very, very little contact whatsoever. So they know virtually nothing about me and wouldn't,
I guess then I guess a question for that is, does that bother you? Would you want them to?
No, that doesn't really bother me at all. When it comes to strangers, I don't care much. Because I don't know them. I don't have a relationship with them or have any kind of, a general love for human beings, but not, a personal relationship, if that makes sense. But I do care about my family. I do love my family. And so I still have that kind of feeling of almost obligation to not be in their face about things, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right. It does.
Can I ask
It
you
does.
something? Why
Yes.
why do you feel the need to block or shade part of yourself?
Rejection, I guess, mainly fear of
Okay.
rejection. I don't want to be. I don't want to feel alone and rejected on the outside. I don't have. I don't want to feel like I have no support in any way.
No? No?
I mean, that's
And
right.
also, I don't know. I don't feel the need to let them into every part of my life either.
Right.
No?
I don't like. I don't
That's
tell.
a permission you. That's a permission you give or not give.
Right. I don't. They don't know anything. They don't. Most of my family doesn't know about my publication on Substack or anything. I wouldn't want them to read it just because a lot of it is kind of vulnerable. I put out my emotions and stuff like that, and I don't. I don't know. I don't want them to have access to that. I don't feel like they deserve access to it.
No, they don't. They really don't. Hey, could you put some more water in the pot that's on the stove, please? Thank you. Sarah's gonna hate me because I saved this one. I saved this one up. And she knows why I'm going to ask this question. The question then becomes: what part of yourself have you let or are letting someone else's cruelty slowly erase? And what would it feel like to take that space up again if you had to take it, or if you're taking that space now?
Someone else's cruelty.
Doesn't have to be cruelty, but someone who's actively trying to erase who you are.
I mean, there's no one actively trying to erase who I am anymore that I'm aware
But there
of.
was in the past.
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the first step to that was learning that it was even happening. But
how did you learn that?
with the person dying?
Well, yeah, that's usually a cathartic. That's usually a cathartic moment. I mean, you ceded territory. You ceded territory to this person. Why?
Respect, I guess.
Did they deserve it?
I mean, from the perspective of them being my elder and a parent, just from that perspective, yes, they deserved respect, but I don't think that their opinions on me and my behavior after a certain point deserved any kind of respect, but I couldn't see that at the time.
Why not?
Fear?
Fear is a powerful motivator.
He was a scary dude. He looked like Jack Nicholson from The Shining when he'd get angry. And I always said
Gosh,
that
I find that completely terrifying.
yep.
I find that completely terrifying. So then what would it feel like to have to go back into that space?
If I knew then what I know now, I would have just let him cut himself off.
You would have.
Because there was a point in his life where he got really sick and he was trying to push everybody away, and I assumed that it was because he was trying to save us from the grief of him dying, and we just wanted to be there to support him.
Right.
And I feel like he was in some ways trying to do that, but also he would have been doing me a huge favor if I had just let him do it. Although I probably would have felt a lot of guilt and regret if I had. So ultimately, this is probably the best way it could have played out.
It's interesting that you say that, which is why I saved you for last, because I knew how you were going to answer this question. Which is why I'm going to leave you up there, because you get to reply next.
Okay.
And the adage suggests that when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important as to whether or not I am afraid.
Yes.
Because fear will live in you. There's nothing that you can do about that. That's not weakness. That's not diminishment. That's awareness. The people trying to crush you count on your fear paralyzing you from doing things, paralyzing you into silence. That's what they want. But here's the secret that they don't want you to know. And that's, you can be terrified and still move. You can be terrified and still act. You know, sacred hands can still feed people. Anxious voices can still say, I'm trans. And I'm scared shitless. You know, you can be shaking and trembling in nervousness and still show up. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding that your vision matters more than your fear itself. What's your vision? A neighborhood where no one goes hungry? A community where queer kids can play out in the front yard and not be afraid? You know, start there. But let that fear come along for the ride, because ultimately that fear will contribute to your awareness and it will protect you. You don't touch a hot stove because it hurts. Why? You're afraid of getting burned. That's a normal human reaction. That doesn't stop you from cooking on a stove, does it?
Not usually.
Why not?
Because I know how to use it safely.
So then what vision is there of a place where that fear doesn't exist?
I mean, the things that you've listed are definitely things that would be encompassed within any vision I have for society in the future. But I think in terms of what I actively do to try to achieve anything that's even remotely close to that is, you know, I keep my garden, and when I have extras, I will offer stuff to neighbors that I see out doing their gardening or their, you know, yard work. There's a couple people on the street who also keep gardens, and I've been trying to reach out to them so that maybe we can do a plant exchange, seed exchange, just try to get everyone acquainted with each other. You don't need to have like an official like neighborhood watch type thing to be able to communicate with your neighbors and share information, share anything, whether it be supplies, tools, perishable goods, anything, even like storage space. My sister was storing one of her campers in my yard for the longest time, but that was partially because when she'd come over, her and her son would sleep in it instead of sleeping on an inflatable mattress in my living room. But, things like that. Just so that there's more immediate community, people that you can depend on, lean on when you need to.
Restream is so slow today. So I'm going to ask you for a sensory exercise, Miranda. Don't hate me.
For what exercise?
A sensory exercise.
Okay.
Can you describe the texture of your fear versus the texture of your vision? Which has more weight when you hold them both at the same time?
Okay, so texture of my fear versus what?
The texture of your vision.
Of what? I'm sorry.
Vision, sight.
Oh.
Let me give you an example. Is your fear cold and slick like ice water in your stomach? Is your vision hot and rough like a rope burn from pulling something way too heavy? When you actually put those together, that translates into physical feelings versus what you're actually seeing. I'm going to have to start asking way more emotional questions.
Yeah, I don't. So. It's not really like a texture of my fear, but like something that fear does to me is it can operate as a memory trigger to times I felt like I wasn't in control. One that I guess one place that takes me repeatedly is like when I was little, I had an older family member who would tickle me until I screamed for him to stop, and then would keep going until I completely broke down crying, and then would call me a girl and a crybaby, and so like at its worst, fear feels like that kind of helplessness, and like even though I wanted it to stop, I didn't have the physical strength to make that happen at that point. But when I'm able to do things now that are acts of overcoming fear, it also helps heal like little Miranda who couldn't. And so it's like going back to that place has the negative side of feeling the hopelessness, but also the overcoming the current thing helps heal in retrospect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. It does make sense. I mean, these are the hard questions. These are the things we don't ever think about. So I'm going to ask you the question now.
Okay. In terms of texture,
No.
of
If you showed
fear,
up tomorrow, deathly afraid, whatever that is, what could you still do that would matter?
deathly afraid. Deathly afraid. Information passing. You know, getting the word out. You know, my final breath would be some type of lesson or way of imparting wisdom, way of imparting information that's needed to push forward for the movement. I would feel like I would want to contribute in that way.
Right.
Not, you know, fear. You know, I would, yeah. That in terms, in terms of the movement, I really would like to use my last breaths to further any information, kind of a thumb drive, if you will, of information that I have that's kind of pertinent to the movement.
Right. Brandon is going to not like me now. Whew. What have you been refusing to do until you felt brave enough to do it? And how many days has that hesitation taken from you because of that fear and that awareness?
Lately?
Or distantly, your choice.
Well, the thing that immediately popped in my mind was going to the cemetery to visit where my boyfriend is buried. So, what was the second part of that question?
How many days has the hesitation taken from you
Oh,
while you're trying to build up to that point? And why?
well, I don't know. That one's kind of different because he's across the state, you know, so it's not like I could feasibly go there whenever I wanted, you know. It's I'm not, I don't know.
But you want to.
I did in a way, but I knew it would be terribly painful. So in a way, I did not want to.
There's a cost that is associated with that awareness. You can't just say abstractly, someday I'm going to do this. By asking the question, what have you been refusing to do, and how many days has the hesitation built up? That forces you to quantify the abstract, someday I'm going to do X, into it's been a month since I said I was going to do this. And it forces you to feel that accumulation. That's probably the most emotional question I had for this bracket of awareness talk. But here's the deal. When was the last time you went to that site?
I didn't go last year, so it was it would have been 2024.
Right.
I went to Pride Fest in St. Louis,
Right.
and then visited the cemetery.
Was
after,
it emotional then?
Yeah.
Very. And it's
Yeah,
still...
it was quite a dichotomy too, because I went to Pride Fest and it was a happy, joyful occasion, and while I was in the area, I wanted to go visit the gravesite, and which was completely opposite kind of feeling. And it's visiting that it was kind of I don't know, it helps with closure in some ways, makes it more real, but I'm not sure it really well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying right now.
You don't think it helps?
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't help, but there's no, I don't think there's ever closure when someone dies, and so I don't know what it does. I can't say what that visit does. I don't know. I kind of still keeps him close in a way. Reminds me of him.
That's important.
But it also reminds me of his death, which is, I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of ups and downs to that.
Grief and loss is like that. I mean, 6 stages, denial and bargaining, and I don't care what anyone tells you. Closure is a myth. Closure is a complete myth.
Yeah.
It just is. So
I think there's compartmentalization, where a part of you still holds on to the memory. And then there's triggers that bring you back. But that piece will always be there. I just, in the middle of like all these papers I had printed off, came across an obituary of one of my friends. And, immediately I was thrown back. And so what I realized is what I thought was a tiny bit of me was just a lot larger.
Yeah, there's always a song or a picture or a place or something that brings you right back to that memory.
Yeah, and those memories are hard. So for the closer, I had this worked out. Of course, everybody that's a publication member will read this later, because I wrote a queer space story today. And it's a Caroline Caldwell quote, so don't judge me. But in a society that profits from your self-doubt, that means that liking yourself is itself a rebellious act. And so this is my closing. The systems that crush us aren't accidents. They're designed to make us question our worth, internalize their hatred until we police ourselves better than they ever could. But every authoritarian understands this. If you can make people hate themselves enough, they'll do all the dirty work for you. They'll stay quiet. They'll stay small, invisible, hiding in a closet somewhere. But when we claim ourselves, flaws and fury and beautiful broken pieces, all of it together, when we look at each other and say, you matter, and I see you, and you're worthy exactly the way you are, that's what they can't legislate away from you. That's what they can't take away from you. Self-love isn't narcissism. It really isn't. It's survival. It's the foundation of our resistance. It's choosing to be as big as you are instead of not. In a world that profits from our own silence, our own diminishment. I love myself fiercely. All of you should do the same. And I love the people around me as fiercely as I do. And I know you all do the same. And when that all culminates together, that culminates in the thing that they can't take away from us. Which makes them try harder, which makes us try harder, which means we won't ever go away. We won't ever disappear. So, Brandon, you want to bitch at me about food now?
If I must.
So I was going through my salmon nose rot book. Do you know about the salmon nose rot book?
Salmon nose rot.
Yes, nose rot.
No.
Okay. So salt, fat, acid, heat. If you've never read this book, you should, especially if you're a culinary person in the kitchen. So soup cooking. Last week we were talking about stone soup, and I thought about this. Reviving flat, boring soup. Acid is your savior. squeeze a lemon or a lime or add a splash of vinegar, and or even better yet, stir in miso paste. That brightness adds flavor instantly to any concoction you've put together. And Sarah's making the most disgusting face. I'm about to put you at the top if you keep doing that.
I don't like miso.
What?
It tastes the way, the smell. Like it tastes like a smell that you would smell in a pet store, like a hamster cage.
Really?
Yeah. Like ammonia and sawdust.
Nice.
Miso tastes like ammonia and sawdust.
It tastes the way that smells.
How do you know that?
Because I've smelled those two things together in a pet store, and I've tasted miso.
Gosh, okay. Now I feel like shit because that was going to be like my brilliant genius.
Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't work.
That was going to be my brilliant genius. Like I was expecting him to do that. God damn it, Sarah. Okay. So then, well, no, Sarah's going to have an opinion about this too. Don't buy grocery store tomatoes. Grow your own cherry tomatoes.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, I've had
100%.
grocery store tomatoes, and they don't even compare to homegrown garden tomatoes.
100% agree.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I don't know what it is. I can't say exactly. They're just not as. They don't taste as good, and they're just very lackluster.
I can tell you why they're lackluster.
Oh, we're all ears, Sarah. Here, wait. Here, wait. Hold on. Let's put Sarah on the spot.
It's because they harvest them before they're ready. If you wait until what's called first blush to harvest your tomatoes, they'll be at first flavor, it's like full flavor. So when they just start to get that like slight rosy hint to them, that's when you can get the full flavor from them. But the hothouse tomatoes or whatever, they don't wait for them to be ripe before they harvest them and ship them off to the store. Plus
Yeah, they have a schedule to keep.
Exactly. Schedule and demand.
I guess I've never understood as a person who, growing up, has only ever shopped at a market, like a market. When I, started shopping in a grocery store for myself, it didn't make sense to me. I just like none of this. It seems so sanitized. And so I very much dislike grocery shopping for that reason, because I can't handle that sanitized, and I'm an autistically wired person when I say this. I can't handle that sanitized experience. Vegetables are supposed to be dirty, and potatoes are grown in the fucking ground for fuck's sake. Like when people mash potatoes and they don't leave the skins in, I don't get that.
Oh yeah, I like the skins.
Because all of the flavor in the potato comes from the skin. When you bake a potato, you cut it in half and you throw a bunch of cheese and sour cream and chili and shit in it, You eat the middle, right? Well, do you eat the rest of it too? I do.
Hell yeah,
hear
sweet potatoes too.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You skin, like, drench that in butter and eat the shit out of it or whatever. I do not get why people don't do that. There's people that don't do that.
Because God forbid it's touched dirt.
Which is funny because I have a CIO at my job who he's from Florida, and this is the guy that I get served by him constantly or whatever. But he's a CIO. He's an executive. I can bitch about that all day, and he'll never stop. He will come apologize after he's done it, and he knows he's done it. But anyway, he's the guy that sits on calls and goes, "I wish you'd go back to when kids could just eat dirt and no one cared." Kind of like riding your bike down to your friend's house and then dropping your bike in the front yard and going up to the door. When was the last time anybody did that?
I think I stopped doing that when I could drive.
Well, I mean,
80s,
like,
90s.
Like, if you were a parent and you had your 9-year-old in the house and a 9-year-old came and knocked on the door now, how the fuck would no one would? What? You want to do what?
I mean, out at my sister's, there's like her backyard is open, and there's all the neighboring backyards are open. So there's like 3 or 4 households with kids. So they just come up to her back door and knock on the door and ask if my nephew can come out and play.
And the A at 9 years of age, that's not really happening. Now, my sister's kids, they've grown up in the city, so they're like little city kids. They go about the city. They take MARTA. They do this. They do that. It's like Kids, the movie Kids, except for hopefully without the horrible consequences. But it's like they're city kids, so they move about the city with a certain awareness, a certain swagger that only comes about from growing up in the heart of the action.
I mean, do they think the movie Bottoms is just going to happen or something?
Bottoms is fucking amazing.
That
Love
movie
that
is
movie.
hysterically entertaining. Wait, Sarah, have
And
you ever watched the movie Bottoms? Oh.
There are some parts that people won't even understand, like the part with Marshawn Lynch in it and why he's actually in the movie, is because his sister is gay. And when she came out, he treated her horribly. And this is an apology to her.
Right. So, yeah, basically, that movie is 2 high school senior girls who are visibly lesbian and visibly in love with each other, by the way, start a fight club with a bunch of other girls. And so half the movie is them beating the shit out of each other. It's hilarious. It's completely hilarious. It's completely hilarious. That movie, to me, is almost as good as the movie Bros. But as Brandon knows, wait, Brandon, you've seen Bros, right?
I have.
Yeah. There's an Atlanta personality who is in that movie who I'm friends with, by the way. Onyx will know who I'm talking about. Matt Madison.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't? She lives here in Atlanta. Yeah,
no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she has an interesting adult film stage name.
Oh,
yeah, she does. I'll just say it one time so we can all sort of chuckle. But Madison's stage name is Big Dick Bitch.
Oh, and, I've not heard of her.
Oh, yeah, quite, yeah. I'm gonna cop to something now. My friend Jeremiah, who is a stylist over at Van Michael in Buckhead, has been a repeated or RuPaul's Drag Race contestant. He's qualified for the show 3 times, and so when he and I and his crew of people were really tight friends, yeah, I got introduced to that entire strata of people, and so Madison is who is in the Bros movie, and then there's a girl named Trina, and there's another girl named Stacy. They're all very well known trans adult film stars, and they live in Atlanta.
I happen to know quite a few too, but they don't live in Atlanta. Yeah, but I know them.
But yeah, Stacy and Trina live in Fayetteville, and Madison actually lives in Avondale Estates, I think, now, which will be scary if he lives in the neighborhood I'm moving into in 3 months. But yeah, Brandon, if you want a good laugh one night, go rent the movie Bottoms and watch it. You'll laugh hysterically, I promise you.
Bottom.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I watch it I watch it every other day. I mean, it's canon for me.
It's a good experience. So, all right. Well, with that, does anybody have anything else in closing they want to say?
Keep fighting the system and transphobia and racism and xenophobia and homophobia. Fuck ICE.
Did everybody hear about Luigi?
I heard somebody was trying to break him out.
So it's come out. Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty for killing the CEO.
Yes, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. He will not face the death penalty for killing the CEO. And then the Epstein files drop again has repeated unredacted Donald Trump's name all over it.
But didn't they say they weren't going to release half of them? Like half of them, they're just not going to release. Like half of the document.
I don't know. We're going to see, but the Epstein, the current Epstein flow now it's getting. Here you go. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with Attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken into rooms and forced to give oral to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow him to penetrate. I was 13 years old when Donald J. Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present and watched. So, holy shit. Okay. This is going to be not a fun, it's going to be a very unpleasant experience. So just wait for it. Anyway. But yay on Luigi not getting the death penalty for killing I honestly, at this point, I'm just going to say I'd be happy if it was justifiable homicide. And him going to prison for 10 years. Yeah. Justifiable homicide. I'd be okay with that.
Let him get parole and, 7 years.
Yeah.
I think the article was saying he's facing life in prison, though.
Yeah, he's going to face
without the possibility of parole?
I didn't get that far.
Yeah, so life, that's 33 years. Life in prison without parole is life in prison without parole. Life in prison is a 33-year term.
Right. Right. Which,
So-
if you're young enough, you get out.
I
You
mean,
have
yeah, he'd get out when he's
time
50.
to.
Yeah, he could be paroled when he's 50.
So.
All right. Well, anyway, Onyx, Miranda, Brandon, Sarah, thank you all. Good for Monday.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Should be.
As far as I know.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that watched. Please come back. We'll be around. I'm probably going to do a session over the weekend. I will do gaming sessions at night. You know what? I should do gaming live on Substack just to be a bitch. I really should do gaming live on Substack just to be a bitch. I'm not going to do it though. All right. I love you all. Please be safe out there. Do good things. And we'll talk soon.